Right, Luke. So we were talking about power chords there yesterday, but we only got to it with about 10 minutes to spare or so, so we didn't really get to get into it. So obviously we'll be doing that next week. But for now, I just want you to practice kind of getting the shape of the power chord, okay? Because it is kind of it's a difficult thing to get at first, but keeping in mind that there's only one shape. Well, two really, because when you go down to the A string, it's a little bit different. But there's really only one shape you need to get the hang of. So the way they're done is you've got a bass string or a bass note either on, let's say we're on the third fret here, okay? So either on the E string or the A string, and then you just, whatever string you're on, you hold down the next two strings. So in this case, the D string and the G string, 2 frets up from the bass note. So if you're on the third fret with the bass note, you're on the fifth fret with the next two strings down. Now, so what you don't, I'll just make it different one. Yeah, so let's just to show the point, we'll go up to the sixth fret here. Now, what you don't want is this. Okay, what you want is this. So you only want to hear the strings that you're actually holding down. Now, the problem is, again, you don't want to be avoiding the other strings with the pleck. That's just going to be you're going you're going to have to be too careful to do that. So what you need to do is block them. Okay. So if we come in here for the a G power chord, right? Because it starts off with a G note. Okay, so that makes it G5. They're fifth chords as well. Anyway, so going up here, first one now as usual, bring that right to the fret so that the reach up here is a little bit easier. Okay. Make sure this one in particular, the third finger, because that'll tend to come down here. You're going to get that, okay? So make sure this is packed up as tightly as it can go right up to that fret. Now, obviously, you need to make room for your little finger as well, but just get them as close as you can get them. Okay, so that's what you want. Now, we also want this. Okay, so you got to mute those. So you see the way here, I'm laying my finger down across them. Now, I don't want that either. I don't want to actually hold them down. I just want to touch them. So I want to hold this one down. So if I take these fingers away, what I want this finger to do is this. Hold that one down and the rest of them are blank. Now it doesn't really matter if you're getting this because these two fingers are going over these ones anyway, so that doesn't matter. But these ones need to be cut, okay, or muted. Now, when you go down to the A string, it's the same thing. Now going down to the A string is the same, keep this in mind, it's the same as going up by 5 frets. Basically same. Doesn't textures, the tone is a little bit different, but it's the same chord, same notes. Okay, so if we go down to the A string here, right? Now what we want is this. Block on that. Block, block. So this is a little bit trickier now because now the strings that you need to block are on both sides of the chord, okay? So one thing you can do is use your first finger to block all of them, right? So you see the way I'm holding that down there. I'm holding this one down, but I'm also letting it touch the E string, okay? So that's one way to do it, okay? Use your first finger for all of it. Now, if you don't want to do that though, another way you can do it is get your middle finger and just touch it. Again, now you don't make sure you're not holding it down. That's not what you want. Block. So just work on getting just move them around, okay? Now the trick to it is, because this is just one shape, you need to be able to move it around the fretboard easily and keep in the shape, right? So if you're here, you want to go up by 3, you don't want that to happen, okay? You got to hold firm that shape, okay? So you can. So anyway, just you move it around kind of like it's just like your fingers are part of just one object that you're just moving around the fretboard like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. Now keep in mind as well that you've got these open ones here. If your bass string is just open, the same principles apply, okay? So open, then 2 frets up on the next 2 strings. Oh. So, and middle finger to block this. Or you could use your thumb. All right. Now, one last thing, just to put it into practice. You were talking about Smells Like Teen Spirit. Okay, so those power chords are here, first fret on the E string. Next one is down a string. Next one is on the E string on the 4th fret. And then 4th fret, A string. So. And we'll get into that strumming stuff in a second. Oh yeah, and the little thing when he's singing is just first finger across. Now you can do this, you can do it with 2 fingers, but you're better off just getting into the habit of holding both of them down, barring the 2 of them. First fret, B and E string. That's it. Okay, so get a good practice on those ones now, on that one now, because it is tough to get it at first. But once you start really moving around the fretboard, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. So, all right, keep it up. See you next week.